All right. So if you know me in real life, you know that things are subject to change day to day. And I made my mind up about something. I wanted the turbos on here. They're going to be put on here. I did cobble together a nitro system with a brand new NX plate. Um, it's going to come off. I need a spacer though because I got rid of the alcohol carburetor. I decided I wanted to fuel inject it, and I wasn't going to be over 1,200 horse anyways. So the Holley Sniper should do exactly what I want. My reasoning was the carburetor needed to be converted to E85 from alcohol, so I needed new metering blocks at a minimum. Then I needed to convert it to blow through, and then there was all the tuning. This is just going to knock a lot of it out. And I'm up in the air about pulling the mid plate out at this point. I might still use it, I might not. You'll see why in a minute when I get to the front. I can't get headers in, but that's not the end all be all now. The headers that I think his name's Steve on the Cadillac page on Facebook sent me some for free. He had laying around. They're a little dinged up, but they'll work. But they won't fit with the mid plate. But I'd made my mind up now. I'm going to stick to it, stick to my guns. This thing ain't going on the road unless the turbos are on it. So with the header flipped upside down, they will work to a point. I got to keep this bracket for all the alternator and everything I'm mounting to it. There just ain't. It's there now, and everything's worked into it, even the power steering. We'll get to that in a minute. However, this side header wants to go through here. You know, I could waller it out, but I still got mounting stuff there, so I can't. So what I'm going to do is lop the header off, make it come straight up, put a collector flange on there for the turbo, like what's on the front of this, that flat flange, and then I'm going to run a turbo over here and a turbo over that corner. And then what else needs to change is these are upside down. I can't change the springs like that. I'm just not that talented. I mean, I could, but it's just a pain. So I'm going to take it to a fab shop, have them take them both off, cover the holes up. I want one here and one on the other side. And the other problem I have is, you see the old Gorilla arm here that it is. It's coming down on the core support. So I need it to come back and have more of a 90 degree straight down, but I need it to come out at a 45 this side to get to that intercooler. And I've still got to work out how I'm running fans on this because that water pump's too close, unless I can find a shorter water pump, which I haven't looked into, but I'll get there. I did get my valve cover spacers. The rockers were just barely touching them, and I know they make a double thick gasket for that, but I just wasn't dealing with it. So here's the problem we got. Why I don't want the front engine plate holding the engine up. You see the black marker kind of in a circle there? Well, this is where this needs to go. The one wire setup, and it's going to be perfectly lined up with the crank pulley. And then this is really weird because the original power steering pump will mount in between the two without a problem, and it's flush. When it's flush against this plate, it's perfectly lined up. I wasn't planned, but it's man, I can't believe the luck I had there, because this could have turned into a nightmare with cutting more holes and shimming. But I've been neglecting, haven't wanted to cut this out due to, I don't know if you see how much metal is going to be left above it to support the engine. And I know there'd be the two mid mounts and the passenger side mount, but you're talking maybe 1.75 inches, two tops. If it was steel, like hardened steel, like a good steel, I might consider it, but I'm worried it would bend. You know, like the engine's going to push down on it enough, it'll bend. So that's where we're at today. Fuel injection going to the turbos, no matter what, they're going on here. I don't care if I got it. I'll make them work. They're going on here one way or another. They are going on. And then it's going to be fuel injected now. Nothing too special. So fans, I need to finish running the lines, put the fuel filter in today. And like I said, I'm up in there about this. I'm going to give myself to this weekend. I got to make a decision on Monday. I could mount the alternator up higher, but it'd be sticking out of the hood. It looks like anyways the way I would want to mount it. So, and the nice part about this bracket is, even running a serpentine belt, gives me adjustment. So the way I want to put it in there makes it so I have all that adjustment. I'll get the tightest belt I can, and then it gives me adjustment to tighten it up when I go. And the power steering pump on this is really weird. The out corner of the belt, the back side of the belt, turns it. And it's only touching like maybe a quarter of the pulley. It's must not have a whole lot of pressure on it or something. I don't know, but if by some weird chance I can't get it in there, then I'll well, I got to make the lines too once it's in. I shouldn't have a problem with it, but if not, I'll go back to non-power steering like I wanted anyways. Plus, there's always the option of a rack and pinion, but that's nothing I want to do this year. I just want it on the road. So it's going to be a little more time because I just know what I want, and I'm just done bending with what I have. So if I can get, I still got to test the other header. If I can get it in upside down, the steering shaft could be an issue. I don't know if you can see it right there. But if it's not, then I'm going to let it fly. I'm going to cut the headers up in the ends and make the what I want fit, and then put the turbos like in what you would consider the battery trays, or the battery tray and the smog pump, or the charcoal canister tray. And I'll probably pull the inner fender wells out at that point so nothing melts. I was going to leave them in just so when we're doing drive and drags or whatever, there ain't water going everywhere if it rains, but it is what it is. So finish up the fuel lines to the back, which they're right there. And then I need to change some of the brake lines in the middle of the car. They're no good. Bleed the brakes, put new pads on. The rotors don't look bad. And we'll just run it. The NX plate is coming out, but I have to get another spacer to... It was weird because they have this, something that you wouldn't think, but the overhang on that, with that stud, I don't have any studs that'll fit that side without that spacer in there. I got shorter ones, mid ones, and these 3 inchers or whatever they are, and this is all I could come up with, so it's going to have a 1-inch spacer plate to run this. Not the end of the world. That's where we're at. Like I said, if you guys like it, it's coming along. I should be there soon. And I was really geeked about going to fuel injection. Something else. The El Camino's all but done. If we do 666, we're taking the El Camino. It's getting Phytech throttle body on it, just to make it more roadable. I drove it to Iowa and back, and I want to say it's 287 gears in it with that 5-speed and 5th gear. Coming back on I-90, I threw my GPS on to see how fast I was going. At 2,100 RPMs, I was at 91 miles an hour, 91, 92. It was like, woo! And I was pulling, I want to say it took 20 to 22 miles of the gallon is what I got going there and back. After filling it up and clocking the mileage, I was like, dang. Thought that was pretty good. It'll run 12s all day long. It's just a small block Chevy with some big heads on it. Small cam, I'm going to make it work, though. So if you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, share it with your buddies. Hopefully soon she'll be on the road and we will be tearing stuff up. Later.